Jovon here with Downy Yoga. We're going to be doing a 60-minute relax restore class. Actually, the amount of props that we're going to be using will be 2 blankets, a bolster, and if you don't have a bolster, maybe grab a thicker blanket like a comforter, and then maybe a set of blocks if you have it, and a strap. You could also use a scarf or a belt as well. Let's get started. We will get started on a seated posture. So grab your blanket and a bolster. Okay, again, use a thicker blanket, and then we will grab our 2 blocks here. Come into a nice seated position, any seated position, so whether you like the ankles or shins crossed, or maybe it's Virasana, or maybe you could even sit with your legs extended forward in a Dandasana. We're going to place our blocks on top of our thighs and rest our forearms on. And let's start to meet your index finger and thumb together. And just rest the arms down, palms facing up. Now the index finger, the pad of the index finger and the thumb, you want them to gently be meeting here. We don't want to press down. We don't want to see the white tip of our fingers. We just want to have a gentle touch. Okay, sit up tall and straight. Relax the shoulders back and down. Draw your awareness inward. Use this time to settle in, relax, to arrive. Think of gathering yourself, getting situated on your seat. And as you begin to tune in, notice how the breath begins to lengthen and deepen. No need to hold the breath, but notice its own natural pauses at the top and on the bottom of the breath. How are you feeling today? And in asking yourself this question, without any judgment, any criticism, any more thought or power to the answer, just observe what it is that you are feeling. So if it happens to be maybe sadness, could be fear, anxiety, maybe it's relief, happiness, gratitude. Just notice what it is, without any labels of it being good or bad. Watch, observe. Begin to take a big breath in through your nose. Open up the chest. Inhale deeply in through the nose, into the chest. Maybe this time you feel the belly up. One more time. Maybe this breath is bigger than the previous two. Sip in a little bit more air once you get to the very top of it. We are going to hold this breath, just holding for a little bit more. And in the comfort of your own home, be as loud as you want and saw the breath out. Doesn't that feel nice? Gently flutter the eyes open halfway. So setting a soft gaze. No need to open the eyes wide open. And start to make some circles with your thumb and index finger. So just in a circular motion, bringing the awareness back to this mudra, chin mudra, uniting the individual and universal soul. This mudra is a yogi's reminder of the goal of yoga, to yoke, to unite the Supreme. Once you're ready, we'll take our blocks off to the side. We'll use one of our blankets as a headrest. So you can place that at the back. Bolster off to the side. We're going to add our blocks again, or maybe blankets. Sit in a cross-legged position. So come onto the forearms and cross your ankles. Okay? And once you come down, make sure that your blanket is only supporting the skull. Place your blocks underneath your knee and thigh area. So this is customizable. You want to place the props in a position where you feel supported. In this type of practice, I always say, we don't want ourselves to go to the props. We want the props to come to us, so that we feel supported, so you feel supported. So find that nice sweet spot where you could really relax, okay? And it doesn't matter which shin is in the front, because we're going to switch after a couple of minutes. And then take your arms down by your sides, palms facing up. Once you find just right, if you like to take a big breath in and open up the chest, let the shoulder heads drop down, widening the collarbones. Exhale, soften down, and notice the back body sink into the earth. Use your breath to keep you present. Any thoughts that might come up, try to watch them float around. And then when they float around, invite them to float away. I think it's safe to say that we often have this habit of trying to resist the thought process. We try to fight, and it causes a little bit more work for us in the long run. Instead of fighting, instead of trying not to think about something, instead of trying to let go of this and that, today, just let be. Nothing more, nothing less. Slowly begin to place your hands on your blocks, or maybe perhaps they're your blankets, and slide them away from your thighs. Notice which shin is in the front. Uncross the ankles and place the feet about the width of your mat. We'll start to windshield wiper the knees side to side, and it doesn't matter which side you start with. And do about 2 to 3 on each side. So this is the third round. Come back to center, maybe heel toe the feet back, and recross the shins in the opposite direction and slide your blocks or your blankets right under the thighs. And this might feel a little awkward. Give yourself some time to settle and get comfortable with the opposite side. Arms are down by the sides. And breathe. Slowly begin to place your hands on your blocks. Slide them out. Feet go the width of your mat. And any direction, windshield wiper the knees and legs side to side. Again, 3 rounds. Once you've completed your rounds, bring the knees into the chest. So maybe the hands come in front of the shins, or maybe behind the knee pits. I personally like to place my forearms behind the knee pits and hook my fingers. Try that on and see if it works for you. Rocking gently side to side, massaging the lower back muscles against the earth. Come back to center. Let your feet fall down onto the floor. Whichever side is comfortable for you, come onto the side and slowly press yourself up onto your seat. Good. We're going to be using 2 blankets. These two blankets are going to be folded in a particular way. So we'll place any of the other props off to the side and bring your two blankets. Of course, my blankets are going to be shaped different than yours, so just do your best to try to make the same shape. So in folding this, I'm going to get the wide edge and fold that in half. So I call this veggie burger style, okay? So it looks in this shape. Then we're going to fold that in half. So it looks like this. And then another fold. And all you need to do is smooth it out so that you can get any wrinkles or bumps. So you want to try to make this shape. We'll get our second blanket and do the same thing. Folding hamburger style, okay, vegan hamburger style. And fold that in half. And then another half. And let's stack them. So if you happen to have fringes on one edge of it, like I do, make sure that both fringes are on the same side. Okay, let's even up the edges here. We're going to place this towards the front of the mat, so your rounder, softer edge will go towards the front. If you happen to have a thicker blanket or bolster, place that towards the back of your mat. Now, what's going to happen here is your tops of your feet will be placed down onto the bolster, and then we will approach this in a tabletop position, okay? Now, before I forget, let's make sure that our blocks are in the front. Okay. So we're going to be facing this way. So in a tabletop position, right, I'm going to make sure that the microphone doesn't scuff up on us. Place the tops of your feet on your third blanket or bolster. We're going to come and we're going to rest the body down. Now, I actually rested my body a little bit too further up, so I'm going to back it up a little bit because I want to rest my head on here. So I'm actually going to just slide this blanket up a little bit. There you go. Cactus shape the arms. Take them nice and wide. And rest your right cheek down. Okay. Right cheek down. Take a big breath. And release and saw out the breath. Relieve any tension. Allow your body to rest as you close your eyes, melting into the earth, softening the eyes, softening the facial muscles, and relieving anything that feels grippy. Breath by breath, relaxing more. Let your shoulder heads drop down, almost like you're rounding the upper back. Is there something else that you can let go in the body? Is there something else you can soften here to relax more? On your next inhalation, gently lift your head and switch to the opposite side, opposite cheek down. You want to take a breath in and a breath out. Saw the breath out. And rest. Letting yourself be as you are. You don't need my cue to take any bigger breaths. Sawing out the breath is an act of relieving stress and tension. Use that to help you relax more. Now we're going to slowly lift our head and chest. Prop yourself up onto your forearms. I'm going to touch the neck here. One moment. So coming into our supported Sphinx pose. Elbows under the shoulders. Pressing the palms gently down and the shoulder heads back and away from the ears. It feels good to stretch the neck out, chin towards the chest, maybe rolling each ear over to the shoulder. Do some half circles here. There's absolutely no right or wrong. Create a nice rhythm and pattern of stretch for yourself. Place your head on the shoulders. Take a big breath in. What we're going to do is this top layer of blanket, I want you to fold it. So fold it towards you and fold it so that way it supports the sternum. Okay, the very top of the sternum. So we have this space here. Grab a hold of your blocks, or maybe perhaps they're extra blankets, and place your palms on them. Stretch your arms out. We're not going to be here for very long. You could even take your palms a little bit wider. Okay, and just rest the head down. Your head's going to dangle here, and this is more of a shoulder stretch, so there is a little bit of effort. But like I said, we're only going to be here for a few breaths. So pretty much what we call a Superman. It's a gentle work on the erectospinae, the muscles along the spine, and obviously a nice shoulder stretch. So we're going to be here for another 3 breaths. Well done. Slide your palms off of your blocks. Lift your chest slightly so you can unroll your blanket. Place your hands by the short ribs. Start to come up onto your hands and knees. Good. We're going to keep our blanket. However, we're actually going to bring this top blanket maybe a few inches, and then have if you, like for example, I have fringes here, we want to turn that around. Okay, so now we have this little staircase here. Okay, before we get into our next pose, maybe sway the hips side to side, maybe do a few rounds of cat-cow. Start to move the body in whichever direction that feels good to you. When you're ready, you're going to take the bottom blanket and start to roll that in. Just want to roll that all the way in. And have the top blanket fall over that. Have our blocks off to the side. Okay. Now, sitting in front of the blanket, this is a nice support for the lumbar. So the second blanket is actually meeting me at my lumbar, but your lower back is a different shape than mine. So I want you to definitely make sure that your lower back feels supported, not overarched. Bolsters under the knees. You can also use a Supta Baddha Konasana legs by having the knees nice and wide. Okay, looks like I need to roll my blanket up a little bit more. I'm shorter than I think I am. Good. Okay. We have an option to use a couple of these blocks, or maybe they are blankets as armrest. Okay, you can place your arms on them if it feels good to you. Okay. In any direction, there's a couple different options here. Something that feels good in the body, you know. So I just demonstrated a couple of options. But if the blocks or the blankets that you have, doesn't feel good, then that's okay. You don't need to use them. It's all about what you prefer. What's your preference? Taking a big breath in. Deepen your breath. Let be. Soften down into the earth. Surrender into this pose. Slowly begin to return your attention on the breath, to the space that surrounds you. You can wiggle the toes and roll the ankles around to help you bring you back. Maybe reaching your arms up over your head, extending the legs out, and give yourself a nice stretch. Placing your blocks off to the side. Whichever side is comfortable, begin to roll to that side. And gently bring yourself onto your seat. Placing the bolster off to the side, we're actually going to use the blankets again. So place them about mid-mat. Oops. The blocks will also come in. Okay, so you're gonna sit your hips on the blanket, and from here, maybe place it towards the right side. So we have this whole left side cleared. Okay, the left leg will go on top of your blanket like so. So it's straight out. And let's see if you can maybe come a little bit to the edge. You're going to grab a hold of your shin and pull it back and have it come out of the hip like so. So that's why I had asked you to come, oops, that's why I'd asked you to come to the edge, so that way when you bring the foot back, the blanket isn't in the way, okay? So your right toes should be pointing back behind you. You can bring in your blocks here. Make sure you're nice and comfortable. Take a breath in. Exhale, start to forward fold. I'm on the highest setting here. You can interlace your fingers, rest your forearms down on the blocks, rest your head down. If you want to take it a little bit deeper, you're more than welcome to make any adjustments here. Okay. Some of you might be able to come all the way down. It really depends on how you're feeling. Some days I'm feeling open, and right now my hamstrings are really tight. The last couple of days they've just been tight. So I'm gonna meet myself halfway. This is giving me enough stretch to where I feel a stretch, I feel a release, but I'm not overstretching. And that's the important thing with restorative, is that we just want to bring ourselves into a lighter variation of the stretch and not a deep stretch. We want to engage more of the fascia, the connective tissues, rather than the skeletal muscles. We want to make sure that we're still mindful of our breath rather than trying to get in the physical pose. Stay more subtle. And when you're ready, just drop the head. Okay, we'll be here for a few more breaths. Drop your head. Maybe it feels good to maybe dangle. Okay, you can dangle the head a little bit. Slowly begin to lift your head and chest. Take an inhale once you get onto the top. We're just going to switch around. Lean back a little bit so that you can grab a hold of your shin. And slowly bring yourself to the second side. So your left hip is still on the blanket but more towards the edge. Grab a hold of your left shin, pull it back. Okay, so your knees bend. It's pretty much in a hero's pose, okay, Virasana, half Virasana, but your knees pointed out. Okay, come onto the edge as much as you can so that way you feel like you have more space behind you. And position yourself to your comfort level. Once you find just right, you'll take a breath in, a breath out. you happen to feel any constricted areas, some tighter areas, envision the breath going into those places. Watch your breath as it reoxygizes your muscles, your fascia, all of the tissues in your body, every cell down to the atoms, to the molecules, being rejuvenated by the breath. That's why in yoga, pranayama means life force. It's what drives life, what forces life to be. Without the breath, there's nothing. There's no life. Slowly begin to lift your head and chest. Take your time coming out of the pose. Lean back a little bit. Bring your left shin forward. Slide yourself off your blankets. Come onto your seat. What we'll do is we'll grab a hold of one blanket. We can unfold it so it's somewhat in this shape. Oops. Begin to roll it. And once you're done rolling it, slide it underneath your knees. We're going to come into a Paschimottanasana, supported, seated forward fold. Sit up tall and straight, and exhale, roll forward. Let your arms dangle down. You can hold onto the feet. No need to have dorsiflexion in the feet, meaning the toes are pointing up. Just let the feet be loose and relaxed, maybe even pointing forward. And rest the head down. Breathe into the belly. See if you can unhinge the jaw and let the bottom jaw drop towards the earth. Let your tongue dangle. Complete relaxation. This pose is meant to relax the body. Breathe deeper in through the nose and in to the deeper parts of your lungs. Fill your lungs up to its capacity. Notice the subtle movements of the breath as it stretches the inner body. Inhale and slowly bring yourself up. Maybe roll the shoulders up into the ears and roll them back. Maybe a few neck stretches. You can even use your hands on the neck and give yourself a nice massage. I know that always feels good in my body. Nothing wrong with giving yourself some TLC, some self-care, self-massage. The body does happen to hoard a lot of tension and stress, and it's nice to release it. Place the blankets off to the side. Bring your feet the width of your mat. We're going to knock the knees over towards the left side. Okay, the left side. And your right knee will be tucked on the bottom of your left foot. So this is basically how it would look. Start to bring the right arm over. You can stay on your palms. I like to kind of lift my hips a little bit. It makes my pelvic area and my lower back feel a little bit more supported. Some of you might feel comfortable staying on the hands, and some of you might feel comfortable coming down onto the forearms. Just a few breaths here. I have a ladybug crawling on the blanket here. It's pretty cute. I don't know how this ladybug got in here, but she's in here. From here, we will come back onto the hands if you happen to be on the forearms. Come back forward. Okay, I'm going to kind of switch around here a little bit so you guys can see. I want you to aim your heart towards your left shin. And now start to dip forward. You can use blocks under the forearms. Just a few breaths. Want to breathe as deep as you can. Tune into the breath. Tune in deeper. Then slowly bring yourself up onto your hands. Lean back. We'll switch the knees over to the right. So your left knee is being cupped by the right foot, swinging the left arm around and on the floor. Once you're ready, you can stay on the hands or gently bring your forearms down and rest down. And slowly come up onto your hands if you are on the forearms. Gently aim your heart towards your front shin. And as you're ready, fold over. A few breaths here. And slowly come up onto your hands. Lean back. Cross your ankles. Come onto your seat. Let's prepare our final resting pose. We'll use our 2 blocks and a bolster on top. So we want it to be, you can also use a blanket too. It's no worries. You can just use a blanket to help lift the shins. And then at the top of your mat, have that nice rolled up blanket again. This is going to be for the heels. The heels feel nice and supported. And then your second blanket, you can place for your head. Or if you don't need it, you can also cover yourself too. So maybe you even have an extra blanket come by and you can use this as a headrest and you can cover yourself. So bringing this in, so a nice support for the ankles here. Okay, this blanket is not up. It's not rolled up high enough. So I'm going to use it to cover myself. And you cover yourself, make sure that you have covered. You can place your arms underneath your blanket if you have yourself covered. You can cover yourself all the way to the neck. And shimmy the shoulders right under you, like you're trying to get the shoulder blades to meet each other in the middle, so that way it broadens the collarbone. The heart is lifted. Your head is comfortable and supported. Close your eyes. Take a big breath in. This is it. Shavasana. Let your body rest. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. You can stay here for as long as you would like to. You're more than welcome to rest 5 or 10 minutes. Maybe this is the only time for you to relax and be with yourself in stillness. I want to thank you so much for joining me this afternoon, so much for all of your support. Thank you so much for your contributions and your donations via Venmo. Again, we'll see you and thank you so much. Namaste.